Welcome to Module 3. In this module, we're going to take a deeper dive and look into actual assessments used in schools or districts and how those assessments play a role in building school improvement and building literacy models for your district or school or your classroom. So the first thing I want to call your attention to is your assignments. And both of these assignments, the instructional strategies inventory and the internal and external assessment inventory, you really need to have those completed before you get into the discussion. So basically what the instructional strategy inventory is what things are unique or maybe borrowed or not necessarily have to be unique, but what strategies are you using in your classroom, in your school, and or district? For example, most everybody has PLCs or some type of content area planning. That is an instructional strategy. In the previous module, we looked at John Hattie's strategy list. So those are the type of things that you need to list there. On the internal and external assessment inventory, internal assessments are things that you do that are specific to your school. Teacher-made test. If your school is using a certain type of program to assess kids, maybe in K-3, whatever it is that your school is doing that is specific to your school or your classroom, that is an internal assessment. If it's an external assessment, somebody else is telling you to do it, either the district or the state. So a great example of that, of an external assessment, is if you are a tested subject in high school, then you have to take the end of course exam. You have to give that to your students. In grades 3 through 8, we are mandated to give all four core content to grades 3 through 8. So that's an example of external assessment. From a district level, an example would be your universal screener. So maybe your district uses AIMSweb. So that would be considered an external assessment because your school is being told that is what you're going to be using for your universal screener. So those are just a couple of quick examples of what goes in the inventory. Then in your discussion, you're going to be thinking back on how you obtain the information for your inventory and what you discovered. And then finally, I'm going to spend just a minute here. The formative benchmark critique. I want to expose you to actual relevant data. Now, if you have your own data that you want to analyze and report on, it's great. If you don't, then I have two options here and scenarios, and I've given you some data examples. I've got a third grade benchmark from CASE item analysis that you can look at. I've got a 3 through 8 case data. I'm also going to be adding to that because this is real. Actually, this is really real data from my district. So basically, what you'll do, and I'm just going to open this up. I want you to actually look for trends when you're looking at data. Obviously, if you have your own data from your school, I would much prefer that you use your own data. But sometimes if you teach preschool, you may not have your own data. But you can see here that I have school A, B, C, and D listed, and this was on a case benchmark assessment. So I have listed how this school A performed in fall of 2019, how they performed in fall of 2020, what their projected on track and mastery would be, and then the AMO target for school A for on track and mastery in ELA. So when you look at this, you need to be looking for trends. And when you write up your report, you're going to note that if you're looking at the projected from CASE, it is a benchmark assessment that's aligned to Tennessee standards that we give. Most districts use something different. There's several different benchmark assessments out there. This happens to be what we use. So you can say that there's only one grade level that was actually at school A that was actually above or on target, and would be fifth grade. Everyone else was below. So is that cause for concern? You can look at where they were in fall of 2019, where they are in fall of 2020, and understand this is not cohort data. This is actual just how the third grade scored in the fall of 2019 and how they scored in the fall of 2020. If you want to look at cohort data, then you would look at, okay, in the third graders in fall of 2019 scored 50.5 at school A, 50.5%. And then in fall of 2020, that same cohort fell. They're now at 48, average percent correct on the CASE assessment. So I have ELA, math, science, and social studies. If you want to do a different subject area after you look at it, I'm okay with that. Really, I would much prefer that you focus on the literacy aspect of it. But if you're a math teacher and you want to do the math, or if you're a science and social studies teacher and you want to do that, I will accept that. But you might want to communicate that with me. So that is a really quick overview of what's expected in this module. If you have any questions, of course, you can always call me and text me, email me. And as we go through, I'm going to be posting probably another little overview information on the data critique if I'm getting a lot of questions. So we'll just kind of play that by ear. So have a great day.